Okay, so this video is for Luke and Vivi. So again, I know you guys haven't watched Once Upon a Time in a really long time, but I just finished season 2. And again, I don't know how far exactly you guys got into it, or even if you finished season 2, but I'm going to talk about it now. So let's start off by talking about Mr. Gold. Very interesting, a lot more added to his backstory. We got to see him actually go to the war that he ran away from, how he came to have a limp. We got the whole drama about his love forgetting who he was. That was traumatic. I like how we kind of have mixed feelings about this character a little bit, because he is a bad guy. But we can see that he is trying to be good and there's definitely good in him. And so when he lost his love, or she lost his memory of him, we're like, no! In this season as well, we got the really interesting moment where we found out what happened to Mr. Gold's son. You know, where he's been this whole time. And I'm gonna be honest, when we found out in the show who Bay was in the real world, my mind was like, honestly, I feel like it was one of those things that some people might have seen coming, like they might have figured it out, but I didn't. And I'm so glad, because I don't really like trying to predict what's going to happen. I don't really find as much joy in that. I find so much joy in not expecting something, and then they do the reveal in the show and you're like, oh my god! I love that. It's just a whirlwind of emotion and shock, and it feels amazing. So yeah, finding out who Bay was in the real world, that was so good. I was like, also, with Rumpelstiltskin, Mr. Gold, again, they like to tie his story in with a lot of other stories, which is really interesting. So his connection with Hook was really cool. It actually took me just a little bit to realize, oh wait, Rumpelstiltskin is the crocodile to Hook. I was like, oh. It was also hard to watch this season with Regina, the evil queen, because she kept having to do the whole flip-flop thing that villains sometimes have to do in stories, where she's trying to be good, but it's really hard for her. And then she becomes bad again. You're like, no, you were trying so hard. It was interesting seeing with Cora, her mother, how she played into everything was really interesting. And I didn't expect what happened to her in the end to happen. That actually did surprise me a fair bit. And how it affected Snow White afterwards too was really interesting. Oh, also seeing August, or Pinocchio, as a fully wooden man was really interesting actually. Even though the CG is kind of obviously not perfect, it's still really interesting to watch. So I actually quite enjoyed seeing fully wooden puppet version of August for most of an episode. It was also really interesting seeing two characters that turned up in this story turn out to be not who we thought they were. Again, I don't know how far you guys got, or if you even remember stuff, but two ordinary characters from the real world turned out to be more in the know than we first assumed. Ooh, it was also really interesting getting to see Storybrooke when it first started, when the curse first began and Regina woke up and she's the mayor of the town and everything, and nobody remembers anything, and at first it's really cool for her, and she's like, but then she kind of realizes how hollow it feels, how it's almost they kind of mimicked Groundhog Day a little bit, everybody's doing kind of the same thing over and over, and the respect she gets from them is not really real, and then that tied in this, plot with the father and son who went to Storybrooke unknowingly. And obviously I feel that, goes into Regina deciding that she wanted to have her own child, which would go on to Henry. I actually really hope that they'll have a scene in the future season of her actually adopting Henry. I think that would be really interesting. That's actually something I've wanted to see for a long time. Her coming to that decision that she wanted to adopt a child and getting that child, Henry, and raising him and everything. I would actually really like to see that. Also really interesting at the end there of the season, opening up the story of Peter Pan and Neverland. Because I like how they reshape stories a lot and make it perhaps a little darker or just different in some way, and this is very much seems to be the case with Peter Pan's story. That Peter Pan seems to be, I haven't seen him yet, appears to be like a bad guy. That he's purposely stealing children, or boys specifically, and he's trying to find a specific boy, assumably to kill him for some reason. And it's just like, what's going on? How does it work? What's going on here? So I am really glad that they, the writers have decided to intertwine a lot of stories together, not just classic fairy tale stories. Like we had the story of Frankenstein meshed in there, obviously from the beginning, which was even weirder. Which is cool because it feels like they've kind of really, the writers have really thought through the story and tried to connect things really well, because it seems to be well thought out anyway. Alright, so those were my thoughts on Season 2 of Once Upon a Time. I know you guys haven't seen any further, but I'll probably continue watching Season 3, which should be good. You know, and if you like, I could make another video when I'm done with that talking about it, but you guys might not, you probably haven't seen it yet, so... Anyway, I hope you guys are doing well, and everything's going well for you too. I'll make probably more direct videos to you guys in the future, maybe just about general stuff, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.